Okay, if you have a paper book, we're on page 308. Great job being here. We walked up the steps of the palace between black columns, through a black marble portico, and into the house of Hades. The entry hall had a polished bronze floor, which seemed to boil in the reflected torchlight. There was no ceiling, just the cavern roof far above. I guess they never had to worry about rain down here. Every side doorway was guarded by a skeleton in military gear. Some wore Greek armor, some British redcoat uniforms, some camouflage with tattered American flags on the shoulders. They carried spears or muskets or M16s. None of them bothered us, but their hollowed eye sockets followed us as we walked down the hall, toward the big set of doors at the opposite end. 2 U.S. Marine skeletons guarded the door. They grinned down at us, rocket-propelled grenade launchers held across their chest. "You know," Grover mumbled, "I bet Hades doesn't have trouble with door-to-door salesmen." My backpack weighed a ton now. I couldn't figure out why. I wanted to open it, check if there'd somehow pick up a stray bowling ball, but this wasn't the time. "Well, guys," I said, "I suppose we should knock?" A hot wind blew down the corridor, and the door swung open. The guard stepped aside. "I guess that means entrez-vous," Annabeth said. The room inside looked just like in my dream, except this time the throne of Hades was occupied. He was the 3rd god I'd met, but the first who really struck me as godlike. He was at least 10 feet tall, for one thing, and dressed in black silk robes and a crown of braided gold. His skin was albino white, his hair shoulder-length and jet black. He wasn't built up like Ares, but he radiated power. He lounged on his throne in fused human bones, looking lithe, graceful, and dangerous as a panther. I immediately felt like he should be giving the orders. He knew more than I did. He should be my master. Then I told myself to snap out of it. Hades' aura was affecting me just as Ares had. The Lord of the Dead resembled pictures I'd seen of Adolf Hitler, Napoleon, or terrorist leaders who had directed suicide bombers. Hades had the same intense eyes, the same kind of mesmerizing evil charisma. "You're brave to come here, son of Poseidon," he said in that oily voice. "After what you've done to me, very brave indeed. Or perhaps you're simply very foolish." Numbness crept inside my bones, tempting me to lie down and just take a nap at Hades' feet, curl up here and sleep here forever. I fought the feeling and stepped forward. I knew what I had to say. "Lord and Uncle, I come with 2 requests." Hades raised an eyebrow. When he sat forward in his throne, shadowy faces appeared in the folds of the black robes, faces of torment, as if the garment were stitched of trapped souls from the fields of punishment trying to get out. The ADHD part of me wondered, off to ask whether the rest of his clothes were made the same way. What horrible things would you have to do in your life to get woven into Hades' underwear? "Only 2 requests," Hades said. "Arrogant child, as if you'd not already taken enough. Speak then. It amuses me not to strike you dead yet." I swallowed. This was going to be about as well as I'd feared. I glanced at the empty, smaller throne next to Hades. It was shaped like a black flower, gilded with gold. I wish Queen Persephone were here. I recalled something in the mist about how she could calm her husband's mood, but it was summer. Of course Persephone would be above the world with her light and their mother, the goddess of architecture, Demeter. Her visits, not the tilt of the planet, created the seasons. Annabeth cleared her throat. Her fingers prodded me in the back. "Lord Hades," I said. "Look, sir, there can't be a war among the gods. It would be bad." "Really bad," Grover added helpfully. "Return Zeus's master bolt to me," I said. "Please, sir, let me carry it to Olympus." Hades' eyes grew dangerously bright. "You dare keep up this pretense after what you've done?" I glanced back at my friends. They looked as confused as I was. Uncle," I said, "you keep saying after what you've done. What exactly have I done?" The throne room shook with a tremor so strong they probably felt it upstairs in Los Angeles. Debris fell from the cavern ceiling. Doors burst open all along the walls. The skeleton warriors marched in, hundreds of them, from every time period and nation in Western civilization. They lined the perimeter of the room, blocking the exits. Hades bellowed. "Do you think I want war, Godling?" I wanted to say, "Well, these guys don't look like peace activists," but I thought that might be a dangerous answer. "You're the Lord of the Dead," I said carefully. "A war would expand your kingdom, right?" A typical thing for my brothers to say. "Do you think I need more subjects? Did you not see the sprawl of the Affidels fields?" "Well, have you any idea how much my kingdom has swollen in the past century alone? How many subdivisions I've had to open up?" I opened my mouth to respond, but Hades was on a roll now. "More security ghouls," he moaned. "Traffic problems at the Judgment Pavilion. Double overtime for my staff. I used to be a rich god, Percy Jackson. I control all the precious metals under the earth, but my expenses?" "Tron wants a pay raise," I blurted, just remembering the fact. As soon as I said it, I wish I could have sewed my mouth. "Don't get me started up on Tron," Hades yelled, "who's been impossible ever since he discovered Italian suits. Problems everywhere, and I've got to handle all of them personally. The commute time alone from the palace to the gates is enough to drive me insane, and the dead just keep arriving. No, Godling, I need no help getting subjects. I did not ask for this war." "But you took Zeus's master bolt." "Lies!" More rumbling. Hades rose from his throne, towering to the height of a football goalpost. "Your father made fool Zeus, boy. But I'm not so stupid. I see his plan." "His plan?" "You were the thief on the winter solstice," he said. "Your father thought to keep you his little secret. He directed you into the throne room on Olympus. You took the master bolt and my helm. Had I not set my fury to discover at the Yancy Academy, Poseidon might have succeeded in hiding his scheme to start a war. But now you've been forced into the open. You will be exposed as Poseidon's thief, and I will have my helm back." "But," Annabeth spoke. I could tell her mind was going a million miles an hour. "Lord Hades, your helm of darkness is missing too?" "Do not play innocent with me, girl. You and the satyr have been helping this hero here to threaten me in Poseidon's name, no doubt to bring me an ultimatum. Does Poseidon think I can be blackmailed into supporting him?" "No," I said. I have nothing of the helm's disappearance," Hades snarled, "because I had no illusions that anyone on Olympus would offer me the slightest justice, the slightest help. I can ill afford for word to get out that my most powerful weapon of fear is missing, so I searched for you myself, and when it was clear that you were coming to me to deliver your threat, I didn't stop you." "You didn't try to stop us, but—" "Return my helm now, or I will stop death," Hades threatened. "This is my counter-proposal. I will open the earth and have the dead pour back into the world. I will make your lands a nightmare, and you, Percy Jackson, your skeleton, will lead my army out of Hades." The skeletal soldiers all took one step forward, making their weapons ready. At that point, I probably should have been terrified. The strange thing was, I felt offended. Nothing gets me angrier than being accused of something I didn't do. I've had a lot of experience with that. "You're as bad as Zeus," I said. "You think I stole from you? That's why you sent the Furies after me?" "Of course," Hades said. "And the other monsters?" Hades curled his lips. "I had nothing to do with them. I wanted no quick death for you. I wanted you brought before me alive, so you might face every torture in the field of punishment. Why do you think I let you enter my kingdom so easily?" "Easily?" "Return my property." "But I don't have your helm. I came for the Master Bolt." "Which you already possess!" Hades shouted. "You came here with it, you little fool, thinking you could threaten me? But I didn't." "Open your pack, then." A horrible feeling struck me. The weight in my backpack, like a bowling ball, couldn't be. I slung it off my shoulder and unzipped it. Inside was a 2-foot-long metal cylinder, spiked on both ends, humming with energy. "Percy," Annabeth said. "How?" "I don't know. I don't understand." "You heroes are always the same. Hades said. Your pride makes you foolish, thinking you could bring such a weapon before me. I did not ask for Zeus's master bolt, but since it's here, you will yield it to me. I'm sure I'll make an excellent bargaining tool. And now my helm, where is it? I was speechless. I had no helm. I had no idea how the master bolt had gotten in my backpack. I wanted to think Hades was pulling some kind of trick. Hades was the bad guy. But suddenly the world turned sideways. I realized I'd been played with. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades had been set at each other's throats by someone else. The master bolt had been in my backpack and gotten in the backpack from... Or Hades, wait, he said. This is a mistake. A mistake? Hades roared. The skeletons aimed their weapons. From high above there was a fluttering of leathery wings, and the three Furies swooped down to the perch on the back of the master's throne. The one with Mrs. Dodd's face grinned at me eagerly and flicked her whip. There's no mistake, Hades said. I know why you've come. I know the real reason you brought the bolt. You came to bargain for her. Hades loosened a ball of gold fire from his palm. It exploded on the steps in front of me, and there was my mother, frozen in a shower of gold, just as at the moment when the Minotaur began to squeeze her to death. I couldn't speak. I reached out to touch her, but the light was as hot as a bonfire. Yes, Hades said with satisfaction. I took her. I knew, Percy Jackson, that you would come to bargain with me eventually. Return my helm. Perhaps I'll let her go. She's not dead, you know. Not yet, but if you displease me, that will change. I thought about the pearls in my pocket. Maybe they could get me out of this. If I could just get my mom free. The pearls, Hades said with one blood froze. Yeah, my brother and his little tricks. Bring them forth, Percy Jackson. My hand moved against my will and brought out the pearls. Only 3? Hades said. What a shame. You do realize each only protects a single person. Try to take your mother, then, little godling. Which your friends will you leave behind to spend eternity with me? Go on. Choose. Or give me the backpack and accept my terms. I looked at Annabeth and Grover. Their faces were grim. We were tricked, I told them. Set up. Yes, but why? Annabeth asked. And the voice in the pit? I don't know yet, I said, but I intend to ask. Decide, boy, Hades yelled. Percy! Grover put his hand on my shoulder. You can't give them the bolt. I know that. Leave me here, he said. Use the 3rd pearl on your mom. No! I'm a satyr, Grover said. We don't have souls like humans do. He can torture me until I die, but he won't get me forever. I'll just be reincarnated as a flower or something. It's the best way. No! Annabeth drew her bronze knife. You two go on. Grover, you have to protect Percy. You have to get your searcher's license and start your quest for Pan. Get his mom out of here. I'll cover you. I plan to go down fighting. No way, Grover said. I'm staying behind. Think again, goat boy, Annabeth said. Stop it, both of you. I felt like my heart was being ripped in two. They'd both been with me through so much. I remember Grover dive-bombing Medusa in the statue garden, and Annabeth saving us from Cerberus. We survived Hephaestus's Waterland ride, the St. Louis Arch, the Lotus Casino. I'd spent thousands of miles worried that I'd be betrayed by my friend. But these friends would never do that. They had done nothing but save me over and over, and now they wanted to sacrifice their lives for my mom. I know what to do, I said. Take these. I handed them each a pearl. Annabeth said, But Percy! I turned and faced my mother. I desperately wanted to sacrifice myself and use the last pearl on her, but I knew what she would say. She would never allow it. I had to get the bolt back to Olympus and tell Zeus the truth. I had to stop the war. She would never forgive me if I saved her instead. I thought about the prophecy made at the Half-Blood Hill, which seemed like 1,000,000 years ago. You'll fail to save what matters most in the end. I'm sorry, I told her. I'll be back. I'll find a way.